What if I told you the molecule most responsible for your blood flow isn't something a pharmacy sells you? It's something your own body makes every single day out of the food sitting in your kitchen right now. Most men never hear that. I didn't for most of my life. I'm going to walk you through 5 specific foods that researchers have connected to nitric oxide production and blood flow. Real studies, not folk remedies. Number 5 surprised me the most when I first learned about it, because it's not the one anybody expects. But before I get into the list, I want to explain why any of this matters, because I don't think you should trust a list of foods from someone who hasn't lived what it's trying to fix. I'm 83. For years I assumed the fading energy and the things that stopped feeling reliable were simply what happens when a man gets old. I didn't look for a cause. I just adjusted quietly, the way most men do. These days, that's not my story anymore. I split my own wood. I keep pace on hikes with my grandkids, and I haven't had to sit out an activity because my body wasn't up for it in longer than I can remember. I'm 83 years old saying that, and I mean every word of it. It's not because I found a miracle. It's because I finally understood what was actually happening under the surface. So let's talk about what's really going on, because this is the part almost nobody explains in plain terms. You felt it yourself, probably. Energy that used to carry you through a whole day now taps out early. Or something more personal doesn't feel as dependable as it used to. You call it stress for a while. Then you call it age. Eventually you stop calling it anything and just quietly live around it. Here's the mechanism underneath all of that. Your blood vessels rely on a molecule called nitric oxide to relax and widen, which is what lets blood actually move where it needs to go. When that production slows down, everything downstream feels it. Energy, stamina, and the more personal stuff too. And doctors who study the heart will tell you that the blood vessels in a man's pelvis are smaller than the ones feeding his heart, which means changes down there often show up before anywhere else does. It's an early warning system your body's been running the whole time, and almost nobody explains that to men in language they can actually use. The good news buried inside that fact is this. Nitric oxide production responds directly to what you eat. Not in some vague, eat healthier way, in specific, studied, measurable ways. And that's exactly what this list is. For 3 years, I slept 3 feet away from my wife, and it felt like 300 miles. She'd fall asleep first. I'd lie there staring at the ceiling, wide awake, feeling like a roommate in my own marriage. I thought something was wrong with me. It wasn't weakness, and it wasn't just age. Here's what no one ever sits a man down to explain. This isn't about willpower. It's about specific systems in your body quietly losing steam year after year, while nobody tells you it's even happening. The pills my doctor handed me gave me headaches, made my chest feel tight, and honestly, they made me feel like I needed a pill just to feel like a man. I wasn't willing to live like that. There's a gentler way to bring those systems back, without any of that. At 83, my wife and I aren't roommates anymore. I'll show you exactly what changed it in this video, and if you want the simple support I personally use, there's a free presentation linked in the description below. Here are the 5, and I'll be straight with you about which ones I actually rely on and why. Number 1. Beets and dark leafy greens like spinach. These are rich in dietary nitrate, which your body converts, with help from bacteria in your mouth, directly into nitric oxide. Researchers studying dietary nitrate found it lowered blood pressure and improved vascular function in a way that was directly tied to nitric oxide production, not a side effect, the main event. Number 2. Pomegranate juice. A study out of a university research group gave healthy men roughly 2 cups a day for 2 weeks and measured a meaningful average increase in salivary testosterone, along with improved mood. It was a small study over a short window, so I won't oversell it, but it was specific, measured, and published, which is more than most superfoods can say for themselves. Number 3. Watermelon, specifically for an amino acid called citrulline that it's unusually rich in. Your body converts citrulline into arginine, which is the direct raw material for nitric oxide. In a controlled study, men with mild to moderate erectile difficulties who took citrulline saw meaningful improvement in erection firmness compared to men who didn't. Half the group improved from mild difficulty to normal function. That's not nothing. Number 4. Garlic. Researchers gave healthy participants a fermented garlic extract and measured their blood flow afterward. 30 minutes later, blood pressure had dropped and circulation had measurably improved. Garlic's active compounds appear to increase how much nitric oxide is actually available in your bloodstream, not just how much your body attempts to produce. And number 5, the one that surprised me most because it's not usually mentioned in the same breath as the other 4. Ginger. Most men think of ginger as something you add to a stir-fry, not something connected to blood flow. But researchers studying ginger's active compounds found they act directly on the smooth muscle lining your artery walls, the same muscle nitric oxide is trying to relax. And one controlled study measured a real shift in blood lipid levels and clumping in patients with existing heart disease towards smoother, freer-moving blood. Ginger doesn't get the spotlight the way beets or garlic do, and I think that's exactly why it's worth mentioning last. It's cheap, it's already in most kitchens, and almost nobody connects it to this at all. I don't want you to walk away thinking you need all 5 every day forever. That's not realistic, and anyone selling you that isn't being honest. What I actually do is rotate 2 or 3 of these through my week, the way you'd rotate any other habit that matters. Beets or greens a few times a week, garlic worked into what I'm already cooking, and ginger most mornings, because it's the easiest one to build into a routine that sticks. And I need to say this clearly, because it matters more here than almost anywhere else in this conversation. If you're on blood pressure medication or heart medication, talk to your doctor before making any of these a daily habit. Some of these compounds can interact with those prescriptions, and that conversation belongs with the person who has your actual chart, not with a video. Everything on this list works alongside your doctor's plan, never as a replacement for it. These days, my wife and I don't plan trips around how I'm feeling anymore. We just plan them. A weekend away, a long walk somewhere new, dinner out on a whim. That confidence, the kind where you stop negotiating with your own body before committing to something, is worth more to me at 83 than almost anything else I could point to. Let me tell you about Arturo Bellinger. Arturo's 66, a retired high-rise window washer out of Chicago, 40 years spent trusting ropes and rigging with his life, and yet he told me the thing that actually scared him in retirement wasn't heights. It was watching his own energy quietly decline and not knowing why. A co-worker's brother mentioned the nitrate-rich vegetables and ginger to him almost in passing. He started rotating them in without expecting much. 2 months later, Arturo told me the biggest shift wasn't dramatic. It was that he stopped dreading the second half of his afternoons, something he'd quietly accepted as just how things were going to be from here on out. That's really the point of this whole list, more than any single food on it. This was never really just age doing this to men. It's nitric oxide production, and nitric oxide production responds to what's actually on your plate and in your glass, starting with the very next meal you eat. You deserve better than "it's just getting older" as an explanation. You deserve the actual mechanism, the nitrate, the citrulline, the compounds in something as ordinary as ginger, because understanding that is worth more than any 12-minute appointment ever gave you, and it's something you can act on starting today. Your erections don't disappear just because you got older. They fade when the systems behind them, blood flow, nitric oxide, hormones, energy, and recovery, slowly stop getting the support they need. Ignore that long enough, and it becomes harder to reverse. That's why I take this concentrated formula every morning. Not one ingredient trying to fix everything, but several working together to support circulation, energy, and drive from the inside out. It's a natural, doctor-backed protocol designed to support pathways your body already knows how to use. No prescription, nothing artificial. Stronger, present, confident again. And unlike the pills I tried, I didn't feel disconnected from my own body. No headaches, just steady, gradual change. My wife noticed before I even said a word. The presentation is linked right below this video. It won't replace your doctor or a healthy lifestyle. It's simply there to support your body. At 83, my wife and I aren't roommates anymore, and it's not too late for you. Tell me in the comments which of these 5 you already eat, or which one surprised you the most. I read every comment, and I'm curious which one you'll try first. And if you want more honest breakdowns like this one, go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.